Welcome to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbie DiMaggio. We are here today with my guest, Aaron Hendon. He is coming to us from the Washington, outside Seattle, on a small island that I've never heard of. Welcome, Aaron. How are you today?
Debbie, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, we're going to scroll your beautiful photos and I'm going to introduce you with your beautiful bio. Aaron Hendon is a mindfulness teacher, best-selling author, and keynote speaker whose work centers on one idea. Attention is a trainable skill, and most of us were never taught how to use it. Over the past 3 decades, he has trained more than 10,000 people to focus, perform, and feel genuinely alive through a framework at the intersection of neuroscience, secular mindfulness, and real world performance. He is the author of How to Live a Grateful Life in a Fckd Up World and leads live cohort programs by the same name. Wow, that's incredible. It is. It's so true. I've had that conversation with people, and we were not taught. We're taught to run and do stuff and be in motion constantly and go for what it is we want to go for, but we were not taught how to sit still or be content. That was something
Mhm.
I took back. I just got back from South Africa, and very different place, different and the same. Everyone wants similar things, but I realized how content they were. Um, and they were still striving, but there was also a contentedness about them. And
Mhm.
that's what I took back, actually. I mean, who would have known? I did a lot of writing and processing while I was there. Everything I did, I'd go back to the hotel and I just have to write. I would, and just try to get out what I was learning. So, Aaron, so let's, before we dive into all of this, and I want to learn about all of it, when you were growing up, did you think you'd be here where you are today? And then give us paint a, I'm very visual, so give us a picture of where you were born and, a little bit of a journey of where you are today.
Sure. No. The answer to your first question is no. I mean, first of all, I'm a managing broker of a real estate team now, in addition to being an author and a teacher. But I don't think anyone ever grows up thinking, I can't wait to sell houses. Okay, that's not.
Right, right.
No. And those that do, we don't have, like, it's just not a future from a young child. But I grew up in New York. I don't stop for people in crosswalks. It's that kind of thing. Um, and went to art school mostly as a reaction to, like, well, I'm not going to be my brother who went into finance, and I did that, and then I moved to that degree. The fine art degree made me eligible to work in the food service industry anywhere in the country, right? So I went out to Albuquerque with a girl, and started waiting tables, and then the baker in the restaurant quit, and I knew how to bake bread because I have an art degree, and I started baking bread for the restaurant, and I won a couple of blue ribbons in the New Mexico State Fair for my whole wheat
Nice.
challah and my sourdough rye, and decided to open a bakery. And so I started a bakery in Albuquerque in the 90s. It's a very hip punk rock sort of bread and bagel shop in Albuquerque. Anyone who's been Albuquerque from 1990 to 2000 knows Fred's Bread and Bagel. Um,
Oh, wow. Did you have long hair to match?
I I had long hair in college. By that time, it was on and off. It was more from, I went from my deadhead phase into a punk rock phase. So it was uh, more like that. And uh, I did that for 10 years. And then a business coach recommended I do something called the Landmark Forum. And I did that and I loved it. I thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I was a baker. And so I wound up going to work for Landmark. I sold my business and I went to work for Landmark for 10 years. And then that moved me from Albuquerque to Phoenix, from Phoenix to Seattle. And I live in Seattle, moved to Seattle in 2003, something like that. And then I completed my time working for Landmark, and got into real estate. I had a friend from my community here in Seattle, and she was in real estate. I thought I'll go do that. Um, and so I've done that now for 13 years. And in that time, I um, was looking to train my team. And Debbie, you could probably relate to this in terms of training
Yeah.
new agents, because the only thing I could get that was going to have them be more productive was to dial more. And I went to my partner and I was like, Christine, I don't want to teach them to dial more. I don't want to dial more. They can go, they should do bold, right? I was with Keller Williams for 7 years. Bold is fabulous for dialing more. No denigration to dialing more. It works. But I don't need to train people in that. So we put it aside. It was like, all right, well, I don't know what I'm going to train them in. And then this speaks directly, Debbie, to your conversation about um, being satisfied, right? Is that what you said? Being satisfied?
Yes. Yeah. Being content. Yeah.
Being content. That's easy. I was at a retreat in Napa with my wife, and I'm married 28 years. She's my best friend. I don't like anyone better than I like her. She's just best human. And so I have a great marriage. We have two kids, 23 and 20 right now. And they both still speak to us and they both speak to each other. So huge
Yeah.
win there.
I agree.
My Yeah, such an important part of life, right? And my business generates six figures every year, over, reliable, grows every year. So everything in my life was good, but I had this lack of contentment. I had this anxiety,
Oh
this
my God.
other,
I feel like we were born from the same cloth.
right? Right. And it occurred to me in that moment, like an epiphany, a moment of Satori was like, oh, the game I'm playing is get enough. If I had enough, If I had enough, Debbie, then I would be content. Just one more
Right.
deal. Just one more,
Right.
just one, just and I was like, okay, that's crazy. If I had enough, I wouldn't worry anymore. No, no, no. That's not a game you can win, right? That's
Right.
crazy. And in that moment, I got, okay, what if I could play a different game? What if I could play a game called I have all this to be grateful for,
Yes.
life, money, kids, everything. What if I could rest my attention on what I was grateful for rather than let my attention run away like a feral dog chasing off the after catastrophe. And I had learned to meditate in my 20s and then stopped. And I thought meditation is probably an interesting thing to try here to train my attention. And it worked so well for me that I decided to get certified as a mindfulness meditation instructor so I could train my team.
Okay.
And I did. And I trained my team in meditation. And two things happened. One is I stopped worrying. I'm a New
Mhm.
York Jew, so my people come from a world of things are never so bad they can't get worse. That's my family motto. And so
Yeah.
worry was just part of my DNA. And that went away. And I thought, that's
Wow.
wild.
That's
Yeah.
powerful.
I wrote a training and I put my team through it and they increased their sales by 160%
Wow.
year over.
That is incredible.
And no new scripts, no new lead gen, no more dialing, no more. I mean, they did all the stuff they did, but who was doing that was someone who was grounded, present, calm, and centered. And and no matter what the ballers listening to this call think, nobody works better when they're chaotic, frantic, upset, and stressed. No one works
Right.
better under pressure.
Right.
People might work better under pressure than the person next to them, but nobody would choose frantic, upset, chaotic, and stressed over calm, centered, grounded, and focused. And the people, and over the last couple of years, I've probably trained 400, 500 people, and they leave reliably grounded, centered, and with the tools to maintain that. Because every coach you talk to says mindset matters, but where's the recipe?
Right.
This is the
Yeah.
recipe. Mindfulness and meditation are the recipe, and it works. That's how's that for a picture of my path?
Okay. I love it. Well, first of all, we're from the same cloth.
Yeah,
I'll be married tomorrow, yeah, Saturday, 34 years, two amazing kids, Bianca and Chase, going to be 30, 33 and 30. and they love to be with us. We love to be with them. I wouldn't be with anyone else. Our son now works with us. And I'm super close to my daughter who lives in New York. But it was, and it's so funny. So I just wrote a book, Mindset in Motion, Activate Purpose, Power, and Peak Performance. So I saw a lot of
Yeah.
threads. You're in real
Yeah.
estate. I've been in real estate 35 years, and it was the next deal, the next deal. I'll be happy. I'll be content. I'll be at peace. My husband can be at peace. We've worked together for 35 years. But yesterday I was at an interview for my book, and it's so crazy when you're totally in sync, and you feel this, I know, when you're it's for me, it's about giving back. And I just got back from South Africa where I went on a community service. I did my first
Hmm.
TED talk. And I'm really resonating who I am when I'm giving back and I'm teaching, I'm educating, I'm inspiring people. And just light up when I see someone get it and are so turned on and so happy that you connected with them in something inside of them to do what it is they want to do. So can you tell us about, I know you can't break down the whole book and your whole training, but give us some highlights. I do meditation my way. Everyone does it their own way. And it was me when I got to a point where I was a little depressed and I'm like, I just have to snap out of it. For me, I won't let myself dwell. I figure things out immediately where most people can't. And I started learning about meditation through YouTube and Dr. Joe Dispenza and all the rest. And I've
Love
been
Dr. Joe.
hooked ever since. But I know when I first started reading about meditation, and I think for the people who don't meditate, you have to kind of help us. Um, I was like, how do you sit still? How do you do that? What if your mind wanders? And then all of a sudden, I used to get super stressed going, how am I going to meditate? And meditate's supposed to be the opposite. And I'm freaking out that my mind is here, there, and everywhere else. So give us a breakdown on, how do you
Yeah.
recommend meditation for people who haven't done it yet and want to get
I
started?
love it. I love it. I have a lunch and learn for realtors called How to Meditate for People Who Don't Have Time to Meditate. So
Love it.
right in my wheelhouse. Okay. Um, so here's the thing people get wrong about meditation. And you said it, and I just love it. I love it. I love it. Meditation is not emptying the mind. So first of all, if you type meditation in your phone, you're going to get prompted to use the cross-legged person with their eyes closed emoji.
Yes.
That's what people think meditation is. Sitting cross-legged, incense cushion, no thoughts, empty thought. Okay. That's I sure that's I don't first of all, the empty mind thing is not possible. The Dalai Lama doesn't have an empty mind when he meditates. There is no human being that has a mind that doesn't wander. That's not a thing.
Wow. I mean, that is
It's
so powerful in itself, just for you to
yeah,
give people the permission to be okay about knowing that
yes.
that's not.
I love it, Debbie, because this is why people burn out of the apps and YouTube have a 90% churn rate because they think they're doing it wrong when their mind
Right.
doesn't clear. Okay, so
Yes.
here's what meditation. So you can do this with anything. We'll talk about different ways to meditate if you want. But here's what meditation is. Have you ever trained a puppy, Debbie?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit, not,
Okay.
sit,
Okay, not much.
stay.
All right. But yeah, yeah. But you crate train a puppy by putting him in the box.
Oh, okay.
And then the puppy gets out of the box. And you pick the puppy up and you put him back in the box, right?
Okay.
And you're kind to the puppy and you're friendly with the puppy. You don't make the puppy wrong for getting out of the box. That's the puppy's job. In
Okay.
fact, if the puppy didn't get out of the box, you couldn't train it to stay in the box.
Good point.
You can't train a dog not to bark unless it's barking. You have to catch it doing the thing you don't want it to do and then positively reinforce it to do the thing you want it to do. That's how you train things. So you're going to meditate. So you stop, you close your eyes, you take a breath. And by the time you start to exhale, you're making a list, right? Okay, puppy's out of the box. Come back to the breath. And you'll take another breath and maybe you get all the way out before you take the next breath in. You're finishing that argument with that idiot on the internet 3 weeks ago. Oh my God. And now it takes you like 3 minutes to catch that your mind wandered. Okay, the puppy got under the couch. No problem. You pick the puppy up and you put him back on the put him back in the box. You put your mind back on your breath. And you do that over and over and over. And that is meditation. If your mind didn't wander, you couldn't meditate. Meditation isn't emptying the mind. Meditation is noticing that the mind has gone somewhere and putting it back. It's actually, and this is neurologically what's happening. So this is the Buddhist practice for 2,500 years, but neuropsychology and neuroscience has mapped with fMRIs, right? Functional MRIs have mapped what's lighting up in the brain when you catch the mind wandering, and you are literally building new neuronal pathways in the parts of your brain responsible for rational reasoning, responsive thinking. And you're quieting the neuronal pathways in your amygdala, your fight, flight, or freeze. You're physically changing your brain the way your muscles change when you work out. And people think meditation is woo. Like we can get
Yeah.
into Joe and talk woo all day. Well, you want to go Esther Hicks? Let's go. Okay. So I love that stuff. But this is hard science has demonstrated that you're growing your brain by, and this is 10 minutes, and you can do this. We could talk about different ways to do it, but that's what meditation is. It's catching the wander,
That that
not
is the
not wander.
best description about the puppy. That is such a good description. So you said you have a few different ways to meditate. Can you share those with us?
Sure, breath meditation is a fundamental, easy, right? Everyone knows that, right? Watch your breath, and it's all you're looking for is a platform, a field upon which you've decided is your anchor.
Okay.
So mantra, your breath, a cup of coffee. You drink coffee?
Yes.
You drink coffee anyway? Good. So do this with your cup of coffee in the morning. This will be your morning meditation if you want. Turn off the
Okay.
TV, put the phone away. It's just you and the cup. Here's my cup. And you feel the cup in your hands. And you notice the sensations of the temperature. And you see the little oil on top and the aroma. And you're just observing. And then your mind will wander, make that list. You're going to make the list. And then you come back to the coffee. Puppy's out of the box. And then you bring the coffee to your lips and you feel the temperature on your mouth and you get that first flavor. And you notice a sensation in the body that, oh, somehow I got lucky enough to live on a planet at the right distance from a flaming ball of gas that would, with photosynthesis, that would somehow make a bean that does this, like all of it. And and you watch the steam in the morning light and you're just returning yourself to the coffee and you're finish the argument with the guy on the internet and you come back to the coffee and then you think about that meeting later today and you come back to the coffee and then you think about that thing you shouldn't have said to your wife last night and then you come back to the coffee and you're just creating a little separation that there is a you and then there are thoughts,
Hmm.
just a sliver of separation between you and what you've and the thing that's doing whatever you've used to call thinking. That's not thinking, that's thoughting. It's just generating thoughts.
Hmm.
Okay. Never going to stop. Never going to stop. Not ever, 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 ever. Not the point. You're not trying to get it to stop. You're just not fighting it anymore. You're just observing it. And you're using any anchor you want. You could do this on a walk in the woods. You can do this while you're driving. You can do this while you're doing dishes. It doesn't matter. You're growing the same parts of your brain no matter how you do it. It's the catch and return. It's the
Okay.
forget and remember. That's the important part.
And that's the muscle you're strengthening. I love it. So I didn't never thought of it that way with a cup of coffee that you could do that or a walk. Um, that is so great. So what are some of the other ways that we can meditate?
Oh, it's infinite, right? Once you get that, all you're doing is
Right.
creating a field upon which you need to that you're using as an anchor. Anything would work, and yoga, or anything that you're going to just catch the wander
Okay.
will work. And what you're strengthening, the benefit here is not that you get calmer. See, that's why you were getting stressed. You were like, this is supposed to be calming me down. It's not. And then you're
Right.
escalating. No, no, no. It's not about any body sensation. You may feel more stress. I don't know. For some reason, the last 2 weeks, Debbie, I have just, my meditations have not felt good. Sometimes they feel really good. Sometimes they don't. But all there is to do is to notice how it feels without judgment. No, that's how this feels. So the benefit, let's just talk about the benefit so people can
Yeah,
know why
sure.
I would do this. You don't meditate to get good at meditation. You don't meditate for how you feel after you meditate, just like you don't go to the gym to become an expert at lifting round, heavy iron circles.
Okay.
Unless you're an Olympic weightlifter, which good for you. But other than that, you're not out to master lifting. You're out to be able to lift your grandkid when you're 80,
Right.
to be able to stand up without a walker, right? Like that's the goal.
Hmm.
Develop the muscles to be able to do that. So, what muscles are you developing when you do this? Well, you get to be more responsive and less reactive. Think that makes a difference at a closing table when you're trying to get a
Yes.
listing, right?
Right.
You get to listen without formulating your response. You can just listen. Think that makes you more trustworthy to clients? When people buy from people they like, know, and trust, if you're
Absolutely.
calm, centered, and grounded, if you're not, you and I both know commission breath kills more deals than anything. You walk into a listing appointment, this is the way my feet feel on the ground. This is the way my breath feels in my body. I can get actually interested in what that customer wants, not what I need.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
My needs are just a never ending waterfall of thoughts. They're just happening. I'm not attached to any of them. I'm just present. So the benefit is that you get to go from force to flow,
Hmm.
right? From chaos to grounded, from stressed to empathetic to compassionate. You get to live a curious life.
Hmm.
You again, Debbie, you coach. I guarantee you have said this or something like it. Is that it's not the most interesting person that wins; it's the most interested.
Right. It's so true. Yeah. I mean,
And
just be curious about the people that you're serving or you're seeking to serve. We
and
all
that's
have a
different than
story.
Ford, right? That's different than like whatever bullshit layer of rapport building you're going to do. I'm not talking about rapport building. I'm talking about
Oh,
being authentically curious about who
yes.
that human being is.
Absolutely. I just got back from South Africa and they were like crazy. I'm like, no, I want to know everything about you. Like, what's your nationality? What's your culture? Like, I'm like, seriously, I just had a conversation this morning with someone and it's just, yeah, I'm so fascinated with people and their story and where they're from. And that is the- you know, that's innately in me, but people do need to have that in order to connect with people, and it has to be authentic, and they can learn to be curious. But yeah, I definitely think that is such a huge thing. It's just to be curious and interested. That's why I love the podcast. I get to ask all kinds of questions.
I can tell it's great.
In my book, Mindset in Motion, Activate Purpose, Power, and Peak Performance, the first it's broken up into the pre-game, the game, and the end game. So the
Love it.
pre-game, whether you're on the play field, lacrosse or football or basketball, or you're preparing for a listing appointment or to meet with a buyer, it's all about I call it three things. It's the locking in method with my headset. I'm
Mm-hmm.
listening to meditation. I get up in the morning, I hydrate, drink water because we're dehydrated after a night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I meditate and then I vibrate on my vibration plate. It's good for lymphatic drainage.
Yeah,
So that's my pregame. So you're working, and then do you also, and at the in the evening I meditate as well. Do you recommend, so what would you tell your agents? We have 30 seconds, we've got to go to commercial break, but I want to know, come back, because whether you're a real estate agent or an entrepreneur, or anything you do in your business, an athlete, whatever it is, we can use the skills that you're going to share with us today. So when we come back, what do you coach your agents to do, and how
sure.
do you do?
Great.
All right, we'll be right back with Aaron. Thank you so much.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. Yeah, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical. Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbie DiMaggio. We are here with Aaron. Aaron, this is so great. So give us how are you training your agents? And you've also trained over 10,000 people. So
Yeah.
what are you sharing when you're sharing these nuggets with your agents? What's a day look like for them?
Well, first, I recommend that people often ask, "Is it better for me to meditate in the morning?" And I just want people to know you can't meditate wrong.
Right.
I just want to take all the restrictions off it. Anytime you meditate is good, whatever works for you. Because my concern is, and anecdotally, this is valid. Uh, uh, People set up to meditate in the morning and then they miss it, and now their day is
Right.
blown. They somehow don't have permission to meditate in the evening. Like I work out in the morning, and if I don't work out in the morning, I am not working out in the evening. I'm just not an evening workout person. I would recommend that you don't deal with meditation that way. Anytime you can take 10 minutes. And by the way, 10 minutes, see, that's another myth, is like it takes hours. 10
Right.
minutes a day, just your morning coffee, just a 10-minute walk will change the brain in 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow.
This is not complicated, people. So, and don't make it complicated. You don't need a cushion and incense and sit in the car. If you can't do 10 minutes, do 5. Can't do 5, do 3 mindful breaths. Can't do 3, do 1. Can't do
Right.
1, then just think about it. Whatever it is, even just thinking about meditation. I want you to know, even thinking about it has mindfulness in it. You're actually in the presence thinking about, you had a thought. There was at least a moment of it. So what I coach people in is there's no downside to being kind to yourself. And that's such a hard one for people. There's 2 things that are really hard for us to get sometimes, because we think being hard on ourselves is the way to get ourselves motivated and up. And we have evidence that it works. We have in our mind, Tom Landry or old school coaches, Bobby Knight, throwing chairs, that kind of vibe. And we have to be that kind of drill sergeant for ourselves. There's no downside to being kind to yourself, and celebrate every single movement toward your goal. Every single movement. So when you taught your kids how to walk, Debbie, they
Mhm.
stood up on their chubby little legs and they wobbled,
They're like, oh.
and you cheered. You did exactly that. And if they fell, you cheered. If they fell forward, you yelled at your husband to come in because they just took their first step. every attempt was met with a cheer. Every
Yeah.
attempt. And there was never a moment where you gave constructive criticism. There was never a moment where you coached them. There was never a moment where you did anything. It would never, ever get to, oh, well, you're just not a walker. And you would, if they had language, which they don't, which is why they can keep trying like this. If they had language, they would never look at you and say, I'm not going to be a walker. I like being carried. You wouldn't take it. You would, every attempt was, and I've yet to meet an adult that has 1/100th of that space of grace when they're learning something new.
Right.
Your job is to celebrate every possible thing about yourself that you can celebrate. This is Esther Hicks. This is Joe Dispenza. This is every law of attraction thing you ever wanted to get. You you can't get to where you're going without feeling good along the way. You have to find a way. And if you're just kind to yourself, you'll find it. So that's how I coach my people. I don't have we the 9-week program that I offer, which is free if anyone's interested, is 9 different meditations, and it moves through, but mostly it's just focused on awareness, allowance, and acceptance. Awareness, allowance, and acceptance. Those are the 3 things. If you can master those 3 things, you will naturally fall into living a grateful life. You sit with your coffee long enough and you'll find yourself moved to tears by the person that picked the beans.
Wow.
Just the amount of humanity that's in your cup
Right.
is ridiculous. Someone had to invent a diesel engine that drove the truck from Costa Rica. I mean, just there were people that introduced the parents of the goat herder in Ethiopia 500 years ago that noticed his goats were dancing when they ate these beans. It's an infinite web that brought you have cleaner water in your toilet than most of the world has to drink.
I know. I know.
Moved years by it if you just slow down enough to get, this is what my feet feel like on the ground right now. This is where I am. What do I got to worry about? It's all about agency of attention for me.
Yeah. No, I did a lot of writing when I was in South Africa in the moment, as I was experiencing and writing, and and I got a lot of what you just said. Um, so you're real estate, but you're also a keynote speaker. And where are you speaking, and where would people find you? And yeah.
Right. So I do. I don't have anything booked right now. So I'm free. I'm available. I'm not
Mhm.
free, but I'm available. Um,
Yeah.
uh, my hub is aaronhendon.com. So my free trainings are on there. My paid trainings are on there. I run a program called Not Selling, the Mindful
Oh,
Sales Method. Um, so that's and my book is on. You can pre-order my book right now, or depending on when this air. Oh, this is well. Anyway,
so let's go into that. The title of your book is How to Live a Grateful Life in a Fucked Up World. So why did you choose that title, and what message do you hope readers take away? And is it out yet, or when is it coming out? Because we're live today.
okay, great. So it is coming out. I had been promising myself July, but I just sent edits to my editor, so not July. I can tell.
I get that.
Time does not wait for me, so it'll be August. Um, it'll be out when it's out, man.
Exactly.
Be out when it's ready. Uh, uh, and I named it that because the world is fucked up. I mean,
Yeah.
and it looks like every day is like hold my beer to yesterday about how fucked up today's going to get. And I really, I need a dragon to slay. For me to get motivated, for me to be up, I need a dragon. And the dragon for me here is the toxic positivity, Instagram, just be grateful. Here's my gratitude journal. Here's what I do. I'm grateful for my car, my dog, my wife, karma. As if putting icing on dog shit made it taste like cake. And it doesn't. You have to deal with there is dog shit. and we don't have any way to hold that things aren't the way we want them to be without being shamed into, well, you're being negative. The Joe Dispenza clan and all that, Esther Hicks is, some of the worst violators, not Joe or Esther particularly, they're very clear, but the way that gets heard is, I don't have any room to not be grateful. And there's this quote that I found that underpins sort of the idea. It's Francis Weller, who's a psychoanalyst and a writer. And he says, it is the work of the mature adult to hold gratitude in one hand and grief in the other,
Mm.
and to be stretched large by those. The quote goes on to say, the more gratitude I feel, the more grief I feel, the more capacity I will have to feel gratitude. And it is that space of learning how to hold without getting reactivated, without making a meal of it, without getting a spiral about it, to be able to hold what's not working. When you can hold that and acknowledge it, allow it and accept it, you stop fighting it and you notice it and you allow it to be the way it is, because you know what? It is the way it is. It's not any other way. It's that way. And all the energy you have put into making it not that way hasn't made it not that way.
Good
It is
point.
that way.
Right.
And if you can just hold it as that way, you can then put your attention over here about, okay, well, what is there to appreciate? And if there's something to appreciate, can I appreciate it as a gift? And if I can appreciate it as a gift, then I'm in the space of gratitude. And I can allow my attention, I can put my attention over here if I have agency of attention. If I've trained myself, most people don't train their dog. They have a feral dog in their head, squirrel, that chase every ping, and the most distracting device ever invented for humanity. That is, your attention is being bought and sold at a level at which Google spent $200 million to determine what shade of blue out of 42 different shades of blue, which shade of blue would get the click the
Wow.
best. Okay, your attention is being hijacked at a level orders of magnitude greater than ever in humanity. Agency of attention is a superpower. Being
Hmm.
able to put your attention where you want it, like on what I'm grateful for, which doesn't mean what I'm not grateful for doesn't exist.
Right. Right.
It just means I acknowledge it's a stick. It has two ends. There's no one-ended sticks. They don't exist. You don't have to pretend you don't have to be grateful for everything. You can just be grateful for what you're grateful for.
Right.
Choose to sit in that. So that's why I chose the title of the book, because I'm not doing spiritual bypassing. I'm not doing toxic positivity. We're not doing gratitude journals. We're going to learn to hold all of it.
But if someone does have, are you dismissing gratitude journals? I mean, I understand
No,
about
if
the
the fact, no, so sorry, that is dismissive, and I said it in a derisive way, and
okay.
that's because I'm not fully responsible for being a arrogant New York. But okay, so I appreciate you catching me on that. If gratitude journals work for you, if they leave you empowered and excited and with a sense of joy, fabulous. You knock yourself out. Really, I think it's whatever works. Like I said, I don't care when you meditate, I don't care what you do. If that's a practice that works for you, that is great. I my concern is that if you're not, if it points in a direction of just focus on what's working, just do that, which turns into it slips into toxic positivity more quickly than I like.
So are you
That's
saying you acknowledge with your mind that these things are happening in South Africa, understand that you have no control of it, and then on the other side, I'm grateful for X, Y, and Z. And this
I'm
is a
grateful
just
that yeah, exactly. I'm grateful that I have the resources to go and make a difference and contribute.
Right.
And I'm grateful for the opportunity is for the people that supported that, whatever's next there. There, and I'm grateful for, and this is not working. It's not wrong that it's not working. It's just, it's not the way I'd like it to be. So I'm going to go, and are you more effective when you're upset about what's not working? You're more effective when you're focused and grateful for the
Yeah,
resources you
I
have.
think you have to learn about it because you don't know about something.
That's right.
Obviously, there's plenty we see in the world that we want to change that we do not have the power, I'm sorry, to change. But um, I like that the idea that I learned so much and I was able to give some tools to them. And I'm still continuing to spend time with those people now through my mastermind. So
Great.
I'm doing a little part in my way. And I'm grateful for them to be attending. And I'm grateful to have this forum to be able to help and to share all my resources like you. You know, you'll be joining my group for that. So I'm not saying just a gratitude. I'm
Right.
general. I just want to go back to that because I'm a writer. You're a writer. I love to write. That's how I process. I process everything through blogs and writing and sharing
Yeah,
and
me too.
understanding and frameworks. So I like to write. I don't always have the time to write out the gratitude journal, but I think it. But yes, I do acknowledge what is going on. You can't mask it. You have to.
Right.
It's there, and you learn from it, and you can only do what you can do. So
That's right.
uh,
100%.
let's see. Gosh, I have all these questions. I'm like, I've asked you every single one of them. So in your book, how is it structured? What are some of the nuggets that we could take from your book?
Sure.
Uh, yeah, and is it a specific audience or is it just open? Just give us a little bit more about that book.
Sure. It's for anyone who, if I was going to pick an avatar, because that's everyone's
Mhm.
always coaching me on like, but you need a specific person you're speaking to. It's the busy professional that's meditation curious. They've tried it. They burned out of the app. The app didn't work for them, or they know it sounds good. They're skeptical. They're not cynical. They're not resigned. They're skeptical. There's a difference, and they'd like to learn and they'd like to see what the advantages are. And they're willing to do the work, right? They're like, okay, I'm going to put in the time, the 10 minutes a day, every day. I'm going to find it to do it. And that's really who it's for. And mostly it turns out to be, it over represents in women because women are willing to do something about their stress and men just think they need to eat it, which is
Yeah, that's so true. Oh my God.
another byproduct of the patriarchy. Go team. Um, but nonetheless, it's for everyone, and women tend to overrepresent in the live cohort. Um, but that, and then the nuggets, like the framework of it is, it's a roadmap, so it's actions to take. It's not commentary.
Good.
It's not a story about my journey, although I include elements of my journey. It's not about me.
Right.
It these not it's a 9-week path to train your brain. And I'm very committed that this stay in the domain of performance and not wellness. I got nothing against wellness. It's
Right.
just I want to make sure people are clear. Phil Jackson, the basketball coach, has 11 rings.
Wow.
13 if you count his 2 he won with the Knicks, but 11, I just want to mention the Knicks. Nixon. Uh, he has 11 rings. More, no one's close. Red Auerbach has 8. Okay. The next 11 rings, and he was the Zen master. This is a performance issue. There are no professional sports teams left that don't have mindfulness coaches, that don't have coaches that work with people. Tim Ferriss, when he wrote Tools of Titans, the habits of the world's top performers, found 80% most common practice amongst all of them, mindfulness practice. So this is a 9-week process. Take these actions. And this isn't like, take these actions and see if meditation works for you. We'll see. No. That's like, go to the gym, lift weights. We'll see if it builds muscle. No. Lifting weights in the right way builds muscle. The body's, it's not optional.
Right.
Let's see if this works for you. Um, and then it's built around these 5 A's, which is awareness, allowance, acceptance, appreciation, and attitude of gratitude. And if you work on the first three, awareness, allowance, and acceptance, and you just sort of tilt slightly towards appreciation, just ask the question, what do I appreciate? Gratitude pops up like a cork being held underwater when you let it go. You don't have to do anything to be
Right.
grateful. You don't have to journal it. You don't have to do anything. It's just there. It's like our natural state is to appreciate life as a gift.
Right.
And uh, so it's built around most of the attention I put on the book is around training people in just awareness, allowance, and acceptance. Learning that, because we resist that. We have resistance, we have judgment, we have assessment, we have opinion, and we think those things need to be handled or dealt with or somehow disappear someday. And then I will
Right.
be, no, no, no. You are never losing the judgment. You are never losing your opinions. You're never losing your assessments. It's not going to happen. Your brain is designed to keep you safe. It is designed to protect you. It is not
Right.
designed to have you thrive. It is designed to have you survive.
Right. I love this. This is and what I now going through everything that I've done and where I am today at 62. I tell when I'm coaching younger people or mentoring them, I will say you don't have to wait till you're my age to employ all these things and implement all of these tools. It just took me this long to get where I am through all of these different tools, but you don't have to wait. I remember telling this woman and this young woman, she's probably in her 30s in South Africa, and we had similar feelings about things. And I said, "No, you don't have." She's like, "Do I have to wait till I'm your age?" I go, "No, you don't. That's the cool thing. I'm teaching you now." So I personally cannot wait. I'm signing up for your 9-week course. See if how I'm doing as my checkpoint. I'm going to sign up for it. I will read your book. I love books, and that's what my book is. It's a 5-step method.
Great.
It's the Set in Motion method. It's 5 steps. It's very easy to follow. In order to implement your goal, you
We'll
have
have
to
to
be
exchange signed copies. It'll be
so
very
yeah,
good.
absolutely. So it's very for like you said, it's not about you. It's examples from your life because that's
Yeah.
storytelling. And so mine is I reverse engineered how I achieve my goals throughout my whole life. So there's stories so people remember, but the 5-step method is for you to implement. And I truly believe my book is a movement for everyone. And I just want to see it because I want it to help people throughout the world. But we are so much in alignment. So real quick before we have to go, can we speak on neuroscience? The first time I ever heard about it was, I mean, I had been doing it, not realizing, but
Right.
probably 6 or 7 years ago when I listened to Dr. Joe Dispenza. But tell me just briefly about your thoughts on neuroscience.
Well, I mean, neuroscience is like any of the other sciences, and Western sciences, where we're committed that you know what you measure, you can manage, and that if you can measure it, it exists, and it's you know. So, relative to the conversation we're having around meditation,
Yeah.
there's a great book. This sort of expresses my whole relationship to it. It's called No Mind, No Problem. Yeah, No Mind, No Problem. How neuropsychology is catching up to Buddhism,
Mm.
and that's what I think about it. Is that the Buddhists have had this down for 2,500 years.
Uh,
Joe Dispenza can now measure it is wonderful. That people don't believe Joe and they need someone from Harvard to measure it is fine. But that's all about the person viewing it needing the validation from the West
right.
about that. The Buddhists have been like, dude, this is 25. We knew this 2,500 years ago. We couldn't measure in the way you're measuring it now, but it didn't mean it was any less real 2,500
Right.
years ago.
Yeah.
So neuroscience is fabulous and it helps because you can begin to ask questions. And the Western science, if I break my leg, I'm going to a Western allopathic doctor to set my leg. And, if I have some stress over here, I'm probably going to go to my wife for emotional freedom technique tapping. I'm not, that's what she does. So she's an Ayurvedic doctor and does emotional freedom. So whatever path gets you there, man. I
Right.
think neuroscience is fun, and I include it heavily in the book. I mean, there's
Good.
pages
Yeah.
of citations because I know there's a whole slant against woo in
Right.
the culture. Joe for sure falls in the woo.
Yeah.
Neuroscience or not, Joe is in the woo community. And I fly my woo woo flag in my woo woo cabin in the woo woo woods. I, I'm as woo woo as you get. And I know you got to speak neuropsychology to people. I also know you got to speak Phil Jackson and the Chicago Bulls to people.
Yeah,
Let's,
absolutely.
someone needs to hear it.
No, I mean, I was always using neuroscience, of course, not realizing at the time. And now I go back and I ran the LA Marathon on mindset, but I had vividly rehearsed myself crossing that
Yeah.
finish. And I did it mostly on mindset and resilience, stories and books on resilience. And I crossed the finish line without
Hang
the
on, Debbie. This
training.
is so important. I know I'm interrupting you, and I
Yes.
apologize.
No.
But and I just wrote about this. My last Substack was just
Yeah.
about this. I lost 30 pounds, but I didn't lose it by meditating. And you didn't run the marathon. Mindset didn't cross the. You moved your leg.
Yes.
You took action. And the thing that mindset, and this is the thing that people I think need to get clear about, is that the only thing that produces results is action. I don't find anyone who agrees with
My
me about
fifth
that.
step, activate.
Right, exactly. And if you want new results, you got to take new actions. No one argues about that.
Yeah.
So the thing that mindset provides or mindfulness provides, and I know your book is inside this, even though I haven't read it. We're so
Yes.
the thing that we're talking about is if the only thing that produces a result is action, and the only kind of action that's going to produce a new result is new action, you only act on what you see there is to act on. Like if
Right.
Serena Williams serves me a tennis ball, it looks like a dangerous item, right? It looks like a bullet I need to duck. But if
Exactly.
she serves her sister that ball, her sister's like, watch this,
Yeah.
and crushes it. Same ball, but the way it looked to me was different than it looked to Venus.
Reframing. It's all in the framework.
Reframing, it's the way you see things. And your
Yes.
mindset work and my mindset work allow you to see things newly.
Yes.
You
So
saw the
true.
marathon newly. You still needed to run it.
Yes. I
And
didn't
that's the
get any
thing that
easier. It didn't get any easier, but
but it was doable, and you did it, and you kept moving your mind so that your body followed your mind.
abs-
Like you kept looking for something new. And that's critical aspect here. We're not talking about I'm going to sit on the cushion. People, law of attraction is I'm going to sit on the cushion and meditate, and gold is going to fall out of the sky. No,
no.
no. With the newspaper,
Exactly.
no.
I'm going to send you my TED talk when we get off. It's called the Marathon Mindset. So
Right.
I'm going to send you an email with it. But so how do people get a hold of you? How do we do your 9-week course? Just remind us once more because we've got
Yeah,
to go.
absolutely. AaronHindon.com is the hub. So everything that I offer can be found off of that website.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron. This was wonderful. I look forward to seeing you and anyone else who wants to join debbiezoom.com, my mastermind, Saturdays at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I will have my friends from South Africa there tomorrow. And thank you so much with so much gratitude, Aaron. Thank you.
Debbie, I so appreciate the work you do in the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Tune in each week for another episode of Mastering the Art of Success with host Debbie DiMaggio. Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. Real stories, real strategies, real success.